Before we begin the story, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the story, everyone. Sunlight spilled like liquid gold through floor-to-ceiling windows, warming Lily Carter's face as consciousness drifted back like a reluctant tide. The silk sheets beneath her fingertips whispered secrets of luxury she'd never known, too smooth, too perfect, too expensive to belong to her world. Her eyes opened to unfamiliar territory, and her heart thundered against her ribs. This wasn't her cozy apartment, with its sunny yellow walls and lovingly collected vintage furniture. This was a penthouse that could grace the covers of architectural magazines, all sculptural lines, designer pieces, and windows that framed the city like a living painting. The bed embracing her was vast, enough for a small family, wrapped in charcoal linens that probably carried a price tag exceeding her monthly rent. Terror closed her throat as fragmented memories from the previous night danced just beyond her grasp. Emma's bachelorette celebration, the exclusive nightclub with its hypnotic music and crystal cocktails, dancing until her borrowed heels became instruments of torture, and an emptiness, a void where crucial memories should reside. Lily's breath hitched as she discovered herself still wearing her midnight black cocktail dress, though it had twisted around her body like a silk tornado. Her strappy heels lay defeated on the marble floor beside the bed. Relief flooded through Hirsch, remained fully clothed. But mortification still burned through her bloodstream like molten metal. The sound of running water from what she assumed was an attached bathroom made her freeze. Someone else was here. Someone who owned this palace of glass and steel. Her mind raced through possibilities, each more horrifying than the last. The bathroom door opened, and steam billowed out like morning mist. Through it emerged a man who seemed to have stepped from the pages of a magazine himself. Tall and lean, with dark hair still damp from his shower. He wore a simple white t-shirt and dark jeans that somehow looked designer on his frame. When their eyes met, his expression shifted from casual morning routine to genuine concern. "You're awake," he said, his voice carrying a warmth that contradicted the awkwardness of the situation. "How are you feeling?" Lily sat up quickly, immediately regretting the sudden movement as her head spun. Where am I? Who are you? What happened last night?" The questions tumbled out in a rush, her voice unfamiliar to her own ears. The man raised his hands in a peaceful gesture, staying near the bathroom door to give her space. "I'm Ethan Harper. You're in my apartment, and before you panic, I want you to know that nothing happened between us." "Nothing at all? Nothing happened?" Lily's voice cracked with disbelief. "Then why am I in your bed? Why can't I remember anything?" Ethan moved slowly to a chair across the room, maintaining distance between them. His movements were careful, respectful, and somehow that made her feel both safer and more confused. "Your friend Emma was worried about you. You'd had quite a bit to drink, and you weren't feeling well. When she couldn't reach your roommate and you couldn't remember your address clearly, she asked if I could help." The kindness in his eyes was genuine, Lily realized, though the situation remained surreal. "You're saying you what, rescued me?" "I wouldn't call it a rescue," Ethan said with a gentle smile. "Emma is actually a friend of my sister's. She knew I live nearby, and that I don't drink much. When you started feeling sick, she was worried about getting you home safely. She asked if I could help, and of course, I said yes." Lily's memories began trickling back in fragments. Emma mentioning someone's brother who might give them a ride, the nauseating feeling in her stomach as the room spun, someone's strong arms supporting her, a voice telling her everything would be okay. "You brought me here and put me in your bed?" The question came out more accusatory than she intended. Ethan shook his head quickly. "I brought you here because it was the closest safe place, and you were really not well. But I slept in the guest room. I wanted to make sure you were okay throughout the night. You were pretty sick for a while there. I checked on you a few times, but I would never take advantage of someone in your condition, or any condition, for that matter." The sincerity in his voice was unmistakable, and Lily felt her panic beginning to subside, replaced by a different kind of mortification. "Oh God, did I throw up?" A gentle laugh escaped Ethan's lips. "You did, but don't worry about it. I've seen worse at college parties, trust me. I made sure you had water, got you some aspirin, and stayed nearby in case you needed anything." You mumbled a lot about missing some important meeting on Monday, so I figured you'd want to be somewhere safe to sleep it off. Monday. The word hit her like a lightning bolt. What time is it? What day is it? It's Sunday morning, about 9:30. You've got plenty of time to prepare for whatever that important Monday meeting is. Relief flooded through her, followed immediately by embarrassment, so acute it made her want to disappear into the expensive mattress. This beautiful, kind stranger had spent his Saturday night taking care of a drunk woman he didn't even know, and she'd repaid him by basically accusing him of assault. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, her voice thick with shame. "I can't believe Emma must have been so worried, and you didn't have to do any of this. I'm mortified." Ethan leaned forward slightly, his expression earnest. "Hey, don't be sorry. We've all been there, well, maybe not exactly there, but you know what I mean. Emma was just being a good friend, and I was just being a decent human being. That's what people should do for each other." Lily studied his face, searching for any sign of deception or hidden motives, but found only warmth and honesty. He was genuinely one of those rare people who helped others without expecting anything in return. The realization made her feel even worse about her initial suspicions. "I should go," she said, swinging her legs over the side of the bed. "I've already imposed enough, and I'm sure you have things to do on your Sunday." "Actually," Ethan said, standing as well, "Emma left your purse and keys with me, but she took your phone to call your roommate and let her know you were safe. She said she'd bring it back this morning, but she hasn't arrived yet. Would you like some coffee while we wait? Or breakfast? You should probably eat something." The mention of food made Lily's stomach growl audibly, causing both of them to smile. She couldn't remember the last time she'd eaten, and her body was clearly demanding fuel. "I don't want to be any more trouble," she said hesitantly. "It's no trouble at all. I was going to make breakfast anyway. I make excellent French toast, if you're interested." Something about the way he said it, casual, friendly, without any undertones or expectations, made her nod before she could overthink it. "That actually sounds wonderful." As Ethan headed toward what she assumed was the kitchen, Lily caught her reflection in the mirrored closet doors and winced. Her dark hair was a tangled mess, her makeup smudged, and her dress looked like she'd slept in it, which, she supposed, she had. She looked like exactly what she was, a woman who'd had too much to drink and spent the night in a stranger's bed. But as she heard Ethan humming softly in the kitchen, the sound of coffee brewing and pans clattering gently, she realized that despite the mortifying circumstances, she felt safe here. This beautiful stranger, Ethan Harper, had shown her kindness when she was vulnerable, and that wasn't something she encountered often in her experience. Looking out at the city spreading below his windows, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this morning, this encounter, would somehow be important. She didn't know how or why, but something told her that Ethan Harper wasn't going to be just an embarrassing story she'd eventually laugh about with Emma. Something told her this was just the beginning. Chapter 2. The Shocking Revelation. Monday morning arrived with the promise of new beginnings. Lily stood before her bathroom mirror, applying the final touches of her makeup with the precision of someone who understood the importance of first impressions. Today was the day she'd been working toward for months, her first day as senior marketing director at Harper Industries, one of the most prestigious companies in the city. Her reflection showed a woman transformed from the disheveled mess of Sunday morning. Her dark hair was pulled back in a sleek bun that showcased her elegant neck, and her navy blue power suit fit her curves perfectly while maintaining complete professionalism. The silver jewelry she'd chosen was understated but confident, and her makeup highlighted her natural beauty without being overdone. "You've got this, Lily Carter," she whispered to her reflection, adjusting the lapels of her blazer. "You earned this position. You belong here." The weekend's embarrassing encounter with Ethan Harper had been pushed firmly to the back of her mind. After Emma had retrieved her phone and they'd shared that surprisingly comfortable breakfast, Lily had managed to escape Ethan's penthouse with her dignity somewhat intact. He'd been a perfect gentleman throughout their entire interaction, even walking her down to ensure she got safely into her rideshare. She'd spent the rest of Sunday preparing for this moment, reviewing her portfolio, rehearsing her introduction, and mentally cataloging all the innovative campaigns she planned to propose. This job represented everything she'd worked for: the chance to lead a major marketing department, the salary that would finally allow her to move out of her cramped shared apartment, and the professional recognition she craved. Harper Industries occupied an entire gleaming tower in the heart of the business district. As Lily's heels clicked confidently across the marble lobby, she felt a surge of pride. The security guard directed her to the executive floor, where she was greeted by a woman with silver hair and kind eyes. "You must be Lily Carter," the woman said with a warm smile. "I'm Evelyn Reed, Mr. Papling's Harper's executive assistant. We're so excited to have you join our team." "Thank you, Mrs. Reed. I'm thrilled to be here," Lily replied, her voice steady and professional despite the butterflies dancing in her stomach. Evelyn led her through a maze of modern offices and conference rooms, each more impressive than the last. The entire floor radiated success and sophistication, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering spectacular views of the city. Employees they passed looked polished and purposeful, and Lily felt herself standing a little straighter, matching their energy. "Mr. Harper likes to personally welcome all new senior staff members," Evelyn explained, as they approached a set of imposing double doors made of dark wood and frosted glass. "He's quite hands-on with the important hires, which shows how much faith he has in your potential." Lily's heart rate quickened with anticipation. She'd researched the company extensively, but had never seen a clear photo of the CEO. She knew he was young for such a position, having inherited the company from his father and transformed it into an industry leader through innovation and strategic thinking. This meeting would set the tone for her entire tenure at the company. Evelyn knocked gently on the door, then opened it with a flourish. "Mr. Harper, I'd like you to meet our new senior marketing director, Lily Carter." The words that followed seemed to happen in slow motion. Lily stepped confidently into the office, her professional smile perfectly in place, her hand extended for a firm handshake. Her eyes traveled upward from the polished mahogany desk to the man rising from behind it, and her entire world came to a screeching halt. Ethan Harper, the same Ethan Harper who had rescued her from Emma's bachelorette party, the same Ethan Harper whose bed she had woken up in just 48 hours ago, the same Ethan Harper who had made her French toast and coffee while she wore yesterday's wrinkled dress and mascara-smudged makeup. The professional smile froze on her face as recognition dawned in his eyes as well. For a moment that felt like an eternity, they simply stared at each other across the expanse of his office. Evelyn continued speaking, something about Lily's impressive portfolio and innovative campaign strategies, but her words sounded like they were coming from underwater. Ethan recovered first, his expression shifting smoothly into professional neutrality. Though Lily caught the flash of surprise that had initially crossed his features, he stepped around his desk with the same measured grace she remembered from Sunday morning. "Miss Carter," he said, his voice carefully modulated, extending his hand toward her, "welcome to Harper Industries. I've been looking forward to meeting you." The word meeting hung in the air between them like a shared secret. Lily forced herself back into motion, accepting his handshake with what she hoped appeared to be professional composure. His hand was warm and steady, and she tried not to think about how those same hands had gently helped her when she was sick, bringing her water and making sure she was comfortable. "Mr. Harper," she managed, proud that her voice came out steady, "thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to contribute to the company's continued success." Evelyn beamed at both of them, clearly pleased with what she perceived as an immediate rapport between the new hire and the CEO. "I'll leave you two to discuss Lily's integration into the team. Mr. Harper, shall I reschedule your 10 o'clock, or will this be brief?" "Please reschedule it," Ethan said, never taking his eyes off Lily. "I'd like to give Miss Carter my full attention this morning." After Evelyn closed the door behind her, silence settled over the office like a heavy blanket. Lily remained frozen in place, her mind racing through 1,000 implications while her body remained perfectly still. This couldn't be happening. This absolutely could not be happening. Ethan moved to the window, putting distance between them, and Lily noticed that he seemed as shaken as she felt, despite his professional exterior. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet and careful. "I had no idea," he said simply. "When we met on Saturday night, I had no idea you were Lily Carter, the marketing director we'd hired. Your portfolio never included a photo, and Emma never mentioned your last name." Lily found her voice, though it came out smaller than she intended. "I didn't know Harper Industries was your company. Emma just said her friend's brother might help us get home safely." She never mentioned that you were the CEO of the company I'd be starting at on Monday." Ethan ran a hand through his hair, disrupting its perfect styling. "This is incredibly awkward." The word awkward didn't begin to cover it. Lily's mind was spinning with worst-case scenarios. Would he think she'd somehow orchestrated this? Would he question her qualifications? Would he assume she'd slept her way into the position, even though nothing had happened between them? "Mr. Harper," she began, then stopped, unsure how to proceed. The formal address felt strange after their informal breakfast conversation, but anything else seemed inappropriate given their current circumstances. "Ethan," he corrected gently, "we're going to be working closely together, and I think we've moved past strict formalities, don't you think?" His attempt at lightness helped ease some of the tension in her shoulders, but Lily remained on guard. "Ethan, I want you to know that I had absolutely no idea about any of this. I would never, I earned this position on my own merit." "I know that," Ethan said firmly, turning to face her fully. "Your portfolio spoke for itself. Your innovative campaigns for Peterson and Associates and the Turner Group were brilliant. Your strategic thinking and creative execution were exactly what we were looking for. This situation, whatever it is, doesn't change the fact that you're the best candidate we interviewed." Relief flooded through her, followed immediately by a new wave of anxiety. But what about the other employees? What if someone finds out about Saturday night? What if they think? "They won't find out unless we tell them," Ethan said, his voice steady and reassuring. "And there's nothing to find out, really. Nothing inappropriate happened. You needed help. I provided it. End of story." Lily looked around his office, taking in the awards on the walls, the photos of successful company ventures, the evidence of Ethan's professional accomplishments. This was her boss. This successful, attractive, kind man who had seen her at her absolute worst was now the person who would determine her professional future. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered, the admission escaping before she could stop it. Ethan's expression softened. "Can I tell you something? I hired Lily Carter, the brilliant marketing strategist who revolutionized customer engagement for 3 major companies. That's who I need on my team. What happened this weekend doesn't change who you are professionally." His words were exactly what she needed to hear, and she felt her confidence beginning to return. She was good at her job, exceptional. Even she had worked too hard and come too far to let an embarrassing personal situation derail her career. "You're right," she said, straightening her shoulders. "I'm here to do a job, and I intend to do it well." Ethan smiled, and for a moment, she caught a glimpse of the kind man who had taken care of her when she was vulnerable. "I have no doubt you will. Shall we start over?" He extended his hand again, this time with a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "I'm Ethan Harper, CEO of Harper Industries. Welcome to the team, Miss Carter." Lily accepted his handshake, feeling her professional confidence returning in full force. "Thank you, Mr. Harper. I'm looking forward to making great things happen here." As their hands parted, both of them seemed to realize simultaneously that, despite their best intentions, nothing about their working relationship was going to be simple. Chapter 3. The Power Play. The following 2 weeks at Harper Industries passed in a blur of strategic meetings, campaign presentations, and the delicate dance of establishing herself as a formidable force in the marketing department. Lily threw herself into the work with an intensity that impressed even her most skeptical colleagues. She analyzed market trends until her eyes burned, crafted campaigns that made seasoned executives nod in approval, and transformed the department's approach to client engagement. Ethan maintained perfect professionalism throughout their interactions, treating her with the same respect and consideration he showed all senior staff. During meetings, he listened intently to her insights, challenged her ideas in ways that made them stronger, and consistently credited her contributions in front of the board. If anyone had observed their working relationship, they would have seen nothing but mutual professional respect. Yet, beneath the surface, Lily felt the constant undercurrent of their shared secret. Every time Ethan handed her a document, their fingers would brush, and she'd remember his gentle care when she'd been sick. When he smiled at her suggestions during presentations, she'd catch glimpses of the warmth he'd shown her over French toast in his kitchen. The memories created a tension that was both uncomfortable and oddly thrilling. Lily had just finished presenting her revolutionary social media campaign to the board when she overheard the conversation that would change everything. She was gathering her materials in the conference room when voices from the hallway drifted through the partially open door. "I'm telling you, Nathan, something's not right about Harper's new hire," came a woman's voice that Lily recognized as Clara from accounting. "Nobody gets promoted to senior marketing director that fast unless there's something else going on." "What do you mean?" The male voice belonged to Victor Langston, Ethan's longtime business rival and board member. Lily had met him briefly, a man in his 50s with Arctic eyes and a smile that never touched them. "Think about it," Clara continued, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Harper interviews dozens of candidates, then suddenly hires this woman nobody's ever heard of. And have you seen how he looks at her during meetings? There's definitely something personal going on there." Lily felt ice crystallize in her veins. She remained perfectly still, barely breathing, as the conversation continued. "You think Harper's sleeping with her?" Victor asked, and Lily could hear the predatory amusement in his voice. "I think Ethan Harper isn't as squeaky clean as everyone believes," Clara replied. "And I think Miss Carter got this job because she's warming his bed, not because she's qualified for it." "Fascinating," Victor mused. "Very fascinating indeed. You know, I've been searching for leverage to use against Harper in the Langston merger negotiations. This could be exactly what I need." Lily's hands trembled as she processed what she was hearing. They were talking about her as if she were nothing more than a corporate scandal waiting to happen. Worse, Victor was planning to use these fabricated rumors to damage Ethan's reputation and business dealings. "What are you going to do?" Clara asked. "I'm going to ensure the right people hear about Harper's unprofessional hiring practices," Victor said with satisfaction. "The board takes ethics violations very seriously, especially when they involve executive misconduct. This could be the ammunition I need to finally bring Ethan Harper to his knees." Their footsteps faded down the hallway, leaving Lily alone with her racing heart and growing fury. She had worked too hard, sacrificed too much, and proven herself too many times to have her reputation destroyed by malicious gossip. But what made her truly angry was the realization that Ethan's reputation was about to be destroyed because of her presence in his company. The unfairness of it all made her hands clench into fists. Ethan had been nothing but kind to her, both personally and professionally. He had rescued her from a humiliating situation, treated her with respect, and hired her based on her qualifications. Now he was going to pay for that kindness with his reputation and possibly his business. That afternoon, Lily requested a meeting with Ethan to discuss the upcoming Langston merger. As she sat across from him in his office, she studied his face, looking for any sign that he'd heard the rumors. His expression remained professionally neutral, but she noticed the slight tension around his eyes that hadn't been there before. "The Langston merger is crucial for our expansion into the European market," Ethan was saying, spreading documents across his desk. "If we can successfully acquire their distribution network, we'll be positioned to dominate the international market within 2 years." Lily nodded, forcing herself to focus on the business at hand while her mind raced with other concerns. "What's your biggest concern about the deal?" Victor Langston, Ethan admitted, with a slight frown. "He's been pushing for this merger for months, but I suspect he has ulterior motives. He's been trying to gain more influence over Harper Industries for years, and this merger would give him significant leverage." "Do you trust him?" Lily asked carefully. Ethan's laugh was humorless. "I don't trust Victor Langston as far as I can throw him, but the deal is too important to let personal feelings interfere. Sometimes you have to work with people you don't like to achieve your goals." Lily felt her heart sink. Ethan had no idea that Victor was already working against him, using her as ammunition. She wanted to warn him, but how could she explain that she'd overheard people discussing their supposed affair without admitting that rumors were spreading about them? "Ethan," she began hesitantly, "have you heard any talk around the office about my hiring?" His expression immediately became guarded. "What kind of talk?" "People questioning my qualifications, wondering why I was hired so quickly." She couldn't bring herself to mention the more personal implications. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Let me be clear about something, Lily. I hired you because you're brilliant, not because of any other reason. Anyone who suggests otherwise is either ignorant or malicious. But what if people don't see it that way? What if they think she trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. What if they think I hired you because of what happened that Saturday night? Ethan's voice was quiet but intense. Is that what you're worried about? Lily nodded, feeling heat rise in her cheeks. Ethan leaned forward, his eyes fierce with conviction. Then those people are wrong, and they can deal with the consequences of their assumptions. I won't let office gossip dictate how I run my company or whom I hire. His words should have been reassuring, but Lily could see the strain in his expression. The rumors were already affecting him, whether he wanted to admit it or not. She realized with growing certainty that Ethan's protective instincts would prevent him from publicly defending her in the way that might actually stop the gossip. He would try to handle it quietly, diplomatically, which would only make things worse. As she left his office that afternoon, Lily made a decision that would change everything. If Ethan wouldn't protect himself from Victor Langston's machinations, then she would have to do it herself. And if Victor wanted to use her as a weapon against Ethan, then she would show him exactly how dangerous that weapon could be. That evening, Lily sat in her apartment with her laptop, researching everything she could find about the Langston merger. If Victor thought he could destroy Ethan's reputation and business through gossip and innuendo, he was about to learn that Lily Carter was not the helpless victim he assumed her to be. She was a strategic mastermind who had built her career on understanding human psychology and market manipulation. She had the skills to destroy reputations, dismantle business deals, and turn public opinion on its head. She had simply never chosen to use those skills for destructive purposes until now. Victor Langston wanted to play dirty? Fine. Lily would show him exactly what dirty looked like when executed by someone who understood the art of destruction far better than he ever could. As she began crafting her strategy, Lily felt a dark satisfaction settling over her. Ethan had been kind to her, had treated her with respect and dignity when she was vulnerable. Victor had chosen to attack that kindness, to use her as a weapon against the man who had protected her. That had been Victor's first mistake. His second mistake was assuming that Lily Carter was just another pretty face who had slept her way to the top. By the time she was finished with him, Victor Langston would understand exactly who he had chosen to cross, and Ethan Harper would be free from the threat that Victor posed to his business and reputation. The irony wasn't lost on her that, in order to protect Ethan from the consequences of their weekend encounter, she would have to become the very thing the rumors accused her of being, a woman who used her intelligence and ruthless ambition to destroy powerful men. But if that's what it took to save Ethan from Victor's schemes, then that's exactly what she would become. The war had begun, and Lily Carter intended to win. Chapter 4. The Perfect Revenge. 3 weeks into her employment at Harper Industries, Lily Carter had undergone a complete metamorphosis. By day, she remained the consummate professional, attending meetings, presenting strategies, and earning the grudging respect of her colleagues through sheer brilliance. But by night, she transformed into something far more dangerous. A strategic mastermind orchestrating the downfall of Victor Langston. Her apartment had become a command center. The dining table disappeared beneath financial reports, competitor analyses, and detailed timelines of the Langston merger negotiations. Her laptop screen glowed well into the early morning hours as she researched, planned, and prepared for a campaign that would make her previous marketing successes look like amateur hour. The elegance of her plan lay in its surgical precision. She wouldn't need to fabricate evidence or spread false rumors. Victor Langston had provided her with everything she needed through his own arrogance and unethical business practices. All Lily had to do was expose the truth in the most devastating way possible. She began with the simplest move in her arsenal: intelligence gathering. During her regular marketing analysis meetings, she requested access to competitor research files, merger documentation, and financial projections. Her position as senior marketing director provided the perfect cover for her requests, and Ethan readily approved her access, impressed by her thoroughness in understanding the company's strategic position. "I want to ensure our marketing campaigns align perfectly with the merger timeline," she had explained to Ethan, her expression earnest and professional. "Understanding Langston Corp's market position will help me craft messaging that highlights the synergies we'll create." Ethan's smile had been genuine and approving. "Your attention to detail continues to impress me, Lily. That kind of strategic thinking is exactly why you're perfect for this role." The praise should have made her feel guilty about her deception, but instead, it strengthened her resolve. Ethan's faith in her abilities only reinforced how wrong Victor's accusations were and how important it was to protect Ethan from further attacks. Within a week, Lily had compiled a comprehensive dossier on Langston Corp that would have impressed a seasoned corporate spy. She knew about their declining European market share, their cash flow problems, and, most importantly, their desperate need for Harper Industries' resources to avoid bankruptcy within the next 18 months. But the real treasure came when she discovered Victor Langston's personal financial troubles, hidden beneath layers of shell companies and creative accounting. Victor had been borrowing against Langston Corp's assets to fund his gambling addiction and lavish lifestyle. The merger wasn't just a business opportunity for him. It was a lifeline that would allow him to access Harper Industries' cash reserves and cover his mounting personal debts. Lily smiled as she reviewed the evidence she'd uncovered. Victor thought he was manipulating Ethan into a merger that would give him control over Harper Industries. In reality, he was a desperate man trying to save himself from financial ruin, and he was willing to destroy Ethan's reputation to achieve his goals. The second phase of her plan required more delicate maneuvering. Lily began strategically leaking information to Langston Corp's competitors, framing it as market research that Harper Industries was conducting publicly. She crafted anonymous tips to financial journalists about Langston Corp's unstable position, providing just enough detail to raise questions without revealing her sources. Her years of understanding consumer psychology and market manipulation served her perfectly. She knew exactly how to plant seeds of doubt that would grow into full-blown concerns about Langston Corp's viability. Within days, whispers began circulating through the financial community about potential red flags in the company's recent filings. The third phase was the most sophisticated, turning Victor's own tactics against him. Lily created a network of false personas on professional networking sites, each designed to seem like concerned industry insiders, sharing observations about the Harper-Langston merger. These fictional consultants and analysts began posting carefully crafted questions about the deal's wisdom, highlighting the exact concerns that would most worry Harper Industries board members. She timed each revelation perfectly, building momentum like a master conductor, orchestrating a symphony of destruction. Every piece of information she released was factual and verifiable, which made her campaign impossible to dismiss as mere rumor-mongering. She wasn't creating scandals. She was simply ensuring that existing scandals received the attention they deserved. Ethan began showing signs of strain as questions about the merger mounted. During their daily briefings, Lily watched him field increasingly concerned calls from board members and financial advisors. His jaw would tighten as he listened to reports about Langston Corp's declining stock price and the growing media attention surrounding Victor's business practices. "I don't understand how this information is getting out," Ethan confided to Lily one afternoon, running his hands through his hair in frustration. The due diligence reports were supposed to be confidential. Now every financial blogger in the city is speculating about Langston's stability. Lily maintained her expression of professional concern while internally marveling at the effectiveness of her campaign. Maybe it's better that these issues are coming to light now, before the merger is finalized. She suggested carefully, "If there are real problems with Langston Corp, wouldn't you want to know about them?" Ethan nodded grimly. "You're right, of course. But the timing is suspicious. Someone is definitely working against this deal, and I suspect it's one of our competitors trying to prevent us from expanding into the European market." If only he knew, Lily thought, that the person working against the deal was sitting across from him, motivated not by corporate rivalry but by the desire to protect him from Victor's manipulation. The fourth phase required Lily to take a more direct approach. She began attending the same networking events and industry conferences that Victor frequented, always staying in the background but carefully positioning herself to overhear his conversations. What she learned during these reconnaissance missions exceeded her wildest expectations. Victor was indeed spreading rumors about her relationship with Ethan, but he was also sharing confidential details about Harper Industries' strategic plans with his gambling associates, hoping to gain insider trading advantages. His desperation had made him reckless, and his recklessness had made him vulnerable. Lily documented everything: dates, locations, witnesses, and the specific information Victor had disclosed. She cross-referenced his gambling debts with the timeline of his confidential disclosures, building an airtight case for securities fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. The final phase of her plan was the most dangerous because it required her to personally interact with Victor at a charity gala that both Harper Industries and Langston Corp were sponsoring. Lily approached Victor with a strategy that would have made Machiavelli proud. "Mr. Langston," she said, appearing at his elbow while he nursed his third whiskey of the evening, "I don't believe we've been properly introduced. I'm Lily Carter, Harper Industries' new senior marketing director." Victor turned to study her with the calculating gaze of a predator, evaluating potential prey. "Ah, yes, Ethan's new acquisition." His tone made it clear that he wasn't referring to her professional skills. Lily smiled sweetly, though her eyes remained glacial. "I prefer to think of myself as Ethan's secret weapon.